Have you ever wondered how NFL stars keep cashing in long after the stadium lights go out? Well, Russell Wilson is one of those rare quarterbacks who knows how to rack up points. Not just on the field, but in his bank account too. Hi, I'm Hope, and if you're obsessed with both football and finance, this is going to be your kind of video. Today on Kickin Riches, we'll dive into just how Russell Wilson built his fortune, from monster NFL contracts to the bold, sometimes mysterious business moves he's made since. And yes, I promise there's way more than just throwing touchdowns. So, are you ready to see how Wilson plays the money game just as hard as he plays football? Let's kick things off with his NFL cash flow because, wow, it's a lot. I'll be honest. That first time I looked up Russell Wilson's NFL earnings, my jaw actually dropped. The man has hauled in over $305 million just from NFL contracts alone. That's not even counting off-field stuff. Back when he was lighting it up for the Seahawks, then flexing with the Broncos, and even that brief Pittsburgh adventure, he kept cashing bigger checks every single year. Imagine signing your name and knowing $48 million will show up in your account. That was Russell Wilson's reality with the Broncos. $48.5 million a year. I don't even know how many cats I'd spoil with that. But here's the wild thing. He doesn't just spend it. He's got bigger plans for that cash. And trust me, it's not all luxury cars and fancy coffee. Though I bet he drinks the good stuff. Stick around. Next up, let's talk about how Wilson is kicking off his money game outside football. Have you ever thought about what happens when athletes get curious about the tech world or dive into entertainment? Russell Wilson fits that profile perfectly, even if he doesn't brag about every deal. What I find interesting is that while there's only so much public info, big names like Wilson don't just let their money sit around. They're out there seeding startups, eyeballing Silicon Valley deals, maybe even helping launch the next streaming giant. Of course, it's not all red carpets and ringing bells at the stock market. But if you ask me, Russell is setting himself up for wins you'll never see in a highlight reel. How about you? Would you play it safe or go big with your investments? Let me know below. All right, let's move on to his hands-on business moves. Now, if you thought Russell was just about touchdowns and contracts, think again. Along with his wife, Ciara, who you might know is a superstar in her own right, Russell stepped into the world of entrepreneurship. Together, they co-founded a production company, bringing their creative ideas to screens, big and small. It's like one day you're yelling, "Hike!" in a stadium, and the next you're calling the shots on a movie set. I love seeing athletes flex their brains like this. It's honestly inspiring. Someone's got to show the world football IQ isn't just for reading defenses, right? But Wilson knows he can't do it all alone. And that's where partnerships come in. What really impresses me is how Russell Wilson has mastered the art of teaming up with the right brands. You know, those athletes plastered everywhere with drinks, shoes, or even suits? Russell's done plenty of those kinds of deals. The details are hush-hush, but trust me, these partnerships aren't chump change. They're about building his business empire, not just looking good for a photo shoot. Honestly, it's the financial version of playing chess when others are still stuck playing checkers. If you ever spot his face in an ad, just remember, he's probably making more in those 30 seconds than I'd make in a year. So, Russell's portfolio is pretty stacked, but what's the philosophy behind it all? Let's wrap it up with what we can really learn from his playbook. So what can we learn from Russell Wilson? It's not just about that $305 million. Although, let's be honest, I wouldn't mind a slice of it. It's about using whatever you've got, talent, money, reputation, to open new doors and build something that lasts. Russell's smart with his endorsements, brave with his investments, and creative with his business ventures. That's a winning formula whether you're tossing touchdowns or just tossing ideas around a coffee shop. If you love this breakdown, don't forget to hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments. If you had Wilson's kind of cash, what would you invest in first? And hey, make sure you subscribe to Kickin Riches so you never miss a play in the business game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.